good afternoon, traders. And certainly as we've gone through this Asian trading day today, we are very focused on what's happening in risk assets. Now, equities have seen a slightly better tape than we saw yesterday. We've seen a little bit of buying coming through in the Hang Seng. That obviously had a very weak day yesterday, and that brought the ASX and the Aussie dollar down with it to an extent. But we are seeing a little bit of buying coming through in the Hang Seng. We're seeing the Nikkei down 20 basis points or so, but that's a reflection that we have seen a slight weaker move in dollar yen. We've seen a lot of traders looking to take profit after a reasonable move up into that 113 handle of late. And certainly if you look at the ASX 200, banks obviously taking a lot of points out of the markets yesterday, but there has been a better tape that's coming through in the mining stocks. BHP looking pretty good at the moment, looking to break to new highs, in the material sector over 1% higher, and that's putting a bid into the ASX 200, which has not really reacted to some of these headlines that we've been seeing. Of course, the focus here is what's happening in the euro crosses today. We did see euro dollar moving through yesterday's high around that 115.80 level. We're sort of just trading north of that at the moment, but we're just waiting to see whether that can sustain those levels. Euro yen's the one that I'm really focused on. If you're looking at the G10 crosses, you really want to focus on this one as your proxy of risk around Europe. If they can break through 132, I think that'll be probably a very bullish move and give some sort of credibility to the idea that people are buying into this new news story which is breaking. And that's really coming from local news sources, that the budget deficit numbers, which had been very much talked about and why we have seen that blowing out of Italian spreads relative to German bunds, will continue to be 2.4% of GDP next year, but then that will come down to around 2% going forward. Now, that obviously still needs to be agreed upon. In Italy, in the political situation, having anything that's going to be agreed upon to that extent is going to take some time, and we still need to see that being playing through. We also need to see whether or not the Europeans accept that number, because 2% of GDP is still a decent deficit going forward. So that's something that we really do need to see. So euro yen really needs to break through 132. At the moment, we are seeing sellers coming into that level. And of course, people are focused on what's going to happen, not just to the European equity markets when they reopen this afternoon, but also really what's going to be happening in the Italian Bund market, or the BTP market there. You've seen that 10-year really moving up quite aggressively of late, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on their funding tasks for 2019. A lot of debt will mature and they'll have to pay that back, but also the funding cost is going to be very expensive for these guys. So certainly people are focused on the 10-year. That's trading at 345 at the moment. Will we see buying coming through there? Will the market buy into this story? And that's what we're very much focused on. If you look at BTP spreads relative to risk-free rates, or which we look at the German bunds, that's been widening substantially at the moment. That holds at the highest level for many years. And that's really what a lot of markets are keying off. Euro dollar's focused on that BTP bund spread. The Italian MIB's also been focused to an extent, although that wasn't the case last night. But risk assets are looking at that. So really that's the epicenter of the financial universe as we go into the open now. We do know that the DAX is going to be closed. They've got a bank holiday there, but the rest of the European markets are open. So we're watching really what happens in that tape in the Italian MIB. And again, that's really going to be focused on what happens in that news story. But across Asia today, we are seeing signs that risk-taking is back on. Everyone's focused on Italy, and we'll just see how that plays out in the session ahead.